Okay, in today's video, we're going to be talking about how to negotiate tech sales salaries in 2024, how you can go out
Yes.
the most amount of money possible in your next tech sales job.
Yep.
Norman, for us, man.
What's going on? So, negotiating tech sales salaries in 2024, especially if you're new to the space, right? And you see a lot of the numbers around the types of money, the amount of money you can make and the different ranges you can make. So, you don't really want to um, ask for less. You don't want to start for less just because you're starting out. So, this is a really, really good conversation to have. And I'm going to give you all a sense of the landscape of what you're walking into, the types of companies that you're going to be speaking to and what they can actually offer, and then strategies, tactics that you can use to increase your offer, get a bit more when you start or start as a higher base salary. Cool with you, Rich?
100%. Let's get it.
Go. Okay, so look, first thing you got to realize is something we've shared in different videos. There's a difference between startup companies, which I call from an employee count, small amount of employees, a small team, versus enterprise companies. So you're thinking like the Amazons, the Microsofts, the Googles, thousands of employees, certainly at least over 1,000 employees. Easiest way to think about this, an enterprise company is mature. They have specific ranges that every position can come in at. So unless you come in with 10, 15 years of experience already, they can't budge from that range without going and asking permission from somebody else in the company to approve of them offering a salary, offering a job offer that is higher than what's already been approved, the range that's already been approved. So that's a lot of pain. That's going to take a long time. That's going to be me. I'm your hiring manager. I think you might be a great fit. You keep saying you want the salary range is 50 to 60,000. You keep telling me you can't do it for less than 70. I have to go to a different department, ask for permission. That department has to meet. They're going to ask me a bunch of questions. Why do I think you're worth more than what the market is?
High
So
friction.
not gonna it's gonna be tough. It's gonna
Right.
be tough, and you might shoot yourself in the foot. Right. So
100%.
the best way to support that conversation is to ask up front during your interview, like, what is the range for this position? And you may not get 100% the answer clarity that you're looking for, but you may get close. They may say, oh, it's between 50 to 60,000, but it may be between 50 to 65,000, right? So you get an anchor, you understand, and then you want to stay within that range because going out of it is going to be really tough. Startups have all the flexibility in the world because they're hiring some of the first members of their team, and every team member is going to have a big impact. They probably aren't mature enough that they have specific ranges for every level in their team, right? So that's the first and big item you need to think about when going in is difference between startups versus enterprise. Second, that you need to think about going through is you need to start every conversation when you're starting talking about money with the understanding that you have multiple other interviews happening at the same time. All right. So do not put your eggs in one basket. You need to be at the point where you have good problems, which is you're servicing 3, 4 different interviews and they've given you different ranges. So you really know the types of companies that are paying the most versus the types of companies that have the lowest range, right? And you can use that in your interviews, right? So when you get to the point of here's the offer that we have for you, you can use that conversation about, well, I've been interviewing. I'm really excited to work for you. I really want to work for you, but what it looks like I might make at this company is $5,000 higher. And I want no excuses to give it my best. Can you meet me at that $5,000 higher amount so I can just say yes and go all in on you, right? So you want to go in having options. And if you have options, you understand what's the real range and you can use them against each other. Right?
So we want to go out there and leverage like competing offers to go out there and kind of stack up a better offer for ourselves.
Boom. Now, some folks, when you get to that point, um, or maybe you're cash strapped, maybe, again, the mindset here is if this is your first role, you want your foot in the door. So you don't want too much friction that's going to stop you from getting experience because once you have 6 months to a year of experience, you can ask for a whole lot, right? So you don't want to shoot yourself in the foot today so that you don't get to earn as much as you can tomorrow. But it's totally on the table to use other offers, right, to your advantage. The other thing I want you to be thinking about here is I want you all to think about if you want a sign-on bonus, right? So this comes up a lot where maybe the offer, the total amount you can make is a lot, but the initial salary isn't right where you want it to be. You want to be at $50,000 or more, but you're getting an offer at 47, right? So what you can negotiate is a bonus that's part of what we call a draw. And lots of employers do this. They also oftentimes they do this for candidates that have a lot of sales experience and they want to give them more money up front to show how much more they want to invest in them. So it's not going to work every time, but it is something you can do. A draw is almost like they will give you a percentage, an employer will give you a percentage of what they expect you to make on your commissions. And then what they'll do is they'll take it out of future commissions you earn, right? So they'll say, hey, you can ask for, look, I really just need to be at 50K in order to make this work for me. So I understand you can't do anything on the salary, but could we do maybe a $3,000 draw, right? And that might be on the table for you, which means you'll get $3,000 extra. You probably get it on as a sign-on bonus, which would be nice. But what the employer will do is they'll say, okay, in 3 months, I expect them to earn this much in commission. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to decrease the total amount that they're going to earn every month. And I'm going to keep that, right? And that's going to be them repaying me for the $3,000 I gave them. So again, easy. I mean, it's not necessarily easy. It's a great ask to make, but there's always a downside, right? You get some more right now, but you'll lose a little bit for the next couple of months while the employer's trying to recoup that investment they made in you. Right?
Yeah, I think overall, kind of like to sum up, really the major points of what it is that you're saying here is there's a lot of ways that you can go ahead and try to get more money up front. Obviously, you don't want to underprice yourself or you don't want to feel like you missed out or got taken advantage of. But the way that I'm seeing it is the more money you're negotiating for upfront, there's also a much higher expectation for you to go ahead and deliver because now it's just like, I just went to bat for you. So you have to now really actually show that this decision was the right decision. So you're actually creating a lot of pressure from you in the beginning. Second, if you actually have the skills to go out there and crush the job, I mean, after 90 days, I think sales is probably the most fair role compared to software engineer. It is very quantifiable exactly what you bring. I think compared to other roles like software engineering, QA, marketing, or something even as nuanced as like a UX designer, right? Like, how do you quantify art? It's like, I
Yes.
made this website so beautiful. Like, sales is I make X calls, I send X emails, there's a funnel, these are my conversion rates. I brought in $3 million in the last quarter. Like they will pay you what it is that it's very quantifiable for you to go ahead and actually negotiate the rates up. So if for some of the people that have friends in tech that are working in other jobs that might look like they're paying a little bit more upfront, just know that when they negotiate their raises, it's way more difficult because it's not as transparent like what one software engineer's value is in the company. So they start off a little bit higher up front, but the truth of the matter is that starts looking real boring 9 months down the line versus in sales, really the sky's the limit in terms of like what is that you can do. And if you're really a rock star and you've had the proper training to go ahead and actually crush your numbers, they will move you from mid-market to enterprise. There's
Exactly.
so partnerships. There's no shortage to because sales is a hard job. So like people that are well trained and bring in results, they will go out there and actually create positions for you. So with that said, it all starts off with your training. Because if you have the right training, you're going to crush numbers. If you crush numbers, they'll pay you within reason. What is it
Yep.
that you want? And honestly, within I think about like 6 to 9 months, I've seen a lot more people that can make a lot more money in tech sales versus other jobs where it's just like, yeah, it looks like they're starting off at like, 120K, but they're capped there for the next 3 years. And
Right.
they kind of hit this glass ceiling where it's just like, well, how do I move up? Well, how do we quantify what you're worth in sales? Very quantifiable.
Yep.
With that said, if you guys are finally ready to go out there and make the transition over to tech sales, schedule the call. Stop waiting around. Stop doing research. Research is not going to help your situation. Talk to one of the member of our admissions team. Let us talk to you about how we can make this dream of yours finally a reality, or if you should be doing something else. It begins with the actual conversation.
Let's do it.